If you have a OneControl touchpad with a USB drive, you'll want to save your programming before you replace the multifunction board to simplify the procedure. We need to enter into programming mode on the OneControl touchpad, or OCTP. To do this, press the Home title 5 times and then select Yes on the prompt. This will take you into programming mode. Once the programming screen has loaded, insert a USB thumb drive into the USB slot on the OCTP. A prompt to save or load configuration will appear. Select to save. Choose a file name to save under that will be easy to recognize. Naming it after the coach owner, floor plan, work order number, or something similar may be helpful. Press the Enter button when done and wait for the information to finish saving. This could take a few moments. Once it says saved, you can remove the thumb drive. With the floor plan saved, you can now replace the multifunction board. Start by disconnecting your CAN bus harnesses. If one of your CAN bus ports has a terminating resistor in it, set this aside and save it for the replacement controller. Next, use a screwdriver or drill to disconnect the various output connections around the board, and to disconnect the power and ground wires at the bottom of the board. Any connections with the spade terminal on the right will be related to the hydraulics and should also be disconnected. As you are disconnecting the various wires, be sure to label each carefully, as replacing them in the same position on the new controller will be vital to making the programming process go smoothly. Next, place the new controller in the same spot as the previous one and secure it in place with screws. Be careful not to over-tighten the screws, as this could result in breaking the mounts. Reconnect your power and ground wires to the same terminal locations that you removed them from, and then begin reconnecting the rest of your wires in the same locations as they were on the previous controller. You will notice that the new controller has a blank label for each connection. Filling out this information can be beneficial for future troubleshooting and diagnosis. Lastly, notice the small black button at the top of the board. During programming, this button will need to be depressed to program the fuse locations on this board. Failure to do this will prevent the board from being programmed correctly and interfere with the proper operation of the functions assigned to this board. To program the new controller, go back to the OCTP and enter programming by tapping the Home title 5 times again. Select Yes at the prompt and wait for the programming page to load. Once it is loaded, insert the thumb drive again and this time select Load when prompted. Select the title of the configuration you wish to load and then press Load again to begin. The system will then run through and load the floor plan. Once the screen says it loaded successfully, exit programming and remove the thumb drive. Now, you will need to remove the previously saved information that is no longer relevant. To do this, press the Settings icon on the left side of the home screen. Then select Resync Devices. Select OK and then press No at the prompt. This will clear the old data from the touchpad display. If the OCTP does not have a USB port, or you do not have a USB thumb drive, you can manually program the OCTP for your new controller. To do this, enter programming the same as you did before, but this time, when the different controllers show up, scroll down to the multifunction board. Selecting the first unknown device will let you program function 8 on this board. This is the only latching relay. Select the device type drop-down, and then select the type that matches the latching relay used here. Next, select the name drop-down option and select the name for the latching relay wired to this function. Once you are done, hit the Set button to save your work. Once it is saved, return to the previous screen and begin programming the remaining functions. The next functions to be programmed will be the momentary H-bridges. Functions 1 through 5 can be programmed following a similar sequence to the latching relay, but after you pick your device type and name, you will save your work by hitting Set, and then scroll down to select a fuse to be used for the circuit. Click Not Set and select the fuse position with the appropriately rated fuse, then press Set again to save your work. This will require that the programming button mentioned earlier on the multifunction board be pressed in order for this information to save properly. When programming functions 6 and 7, you will not need to select a fuse if they are the hydraulic-only options such as on this board.